All right, perfect timing. A rail Acello. That's an interesting choice. Let's take a look here. I'm curious. Okay, this is being brought by Mr. Whiskey. And along with that, looks like a pair of plasma T30 monitors. We can already guess how effective these are going to be. Hopefully, they decide to shoot at something that's not a battleship. And a capping corvette. Capping corvette going high. That's an unusual decision. It's not armed except for the single pinpoint on it. Meanwhile, 250 line ship. I like 250 line ships. And that's being escorted by, these are going to be mass driver monitors. Yes, 4 of them. I'm a little so-so on fleets like this. Mostly because I just think that the mass driver doesn't really do enough damage to warrant it being taken right now. And it's kind of weird to jam it into a monitor. Just in general, I'm not a huge fan of the monitors as gun platforms. They can't take many buffing modules, so even though you have a lot of hulls, actually your rounds per minute is pretty low. But we'll see how those do. With that, it's going to be a trio of 250 line ships. I like the 250 line ships. I think it's better with a couple of 450s mixed in with it, just so you can punch through on the really high damage reduction hulls like Oxfords and battleships. Now, 250 will do a great job of redding out everything. Even a battleship is included in that list. But the thing is, to actually kill one, you need 450s. Luckily, though, Haymaker is taking a 450 Acello. With that is kind of his weird concoction here of a triple Bellbird monitor.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
Oh, and a trio of rocket shuttles. They're going under the map. Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, we'd like to see that. All right, let's see on the other side. John Nebulous here. Oh, he's already getting some 450 shots onto that Acello. Ooh, this is really close. How? Oh, there's no early warning radar available. Yikes. This is not a fight that this Acello wants to take. There's, I suppose there's jamming available. Oh, but there's so much jamming coming out of this frigate, or destroyer fleet, which is on top of the battleship. Look at this push. There's an Oxford behind it. Good gravy. Now this is a B push, ladies and gentlemen. With a CL as well. Let's count. 1, 2, 3 entire fleets pushing over here. Haymaker's about to have a really bad day. He's trying to dodge behind the rock to get out of all of this 450 and 250 fire. When he gets there, the beam destroyers, these have to be beam destroyers, right? Yeah, the beam destroyers are going to catch him completely unawares. This ship already dead. And just like that, the entire OSP right flank is obliterated. Yikes. So we did not have time to really go through and even round up the ANS fleets before they obliterate one entire flank here. But what's on that is a 450 BB being supported by a 450 Oxford, a gun CL, and a trio of beam destroyers, and those also have EWAR frigs. Blah. This is a push. This is how you do it. The jamming, including the hang-ups are critical, right? Are going through, they're covering all of these fleets. I think Haymaker didn't even fire a shot. Yeah, so each of these EWAR frigates have 2 blankets and 2 hang-ups apiece. And that's what you need. I guarantee this fleet is absolutely nothing. So what began as a very even game, a lot of experience on both sides, has almost, with that one move, turned into a rout. These 250 line ships have to be rethinking their choices in life, that they're even close to this flank here. And that only leaves... Is this 450s? That only leaves 4 250 line ships and 1 Ocello to deal with this mass. And a mass it surely is. 3 fleets on top of one another. No missile is going to get through this at all. Big yikes. All right, I finally got my Twitch log back in. Let's go back and see what's happening here. I don't think I missed anything especially important. Just smack talk on my wife. She's still here. She'll come back and get you. You better watch out.
I do. All I said is I didn't know what the game was. Jesus.
They gotta tease you.
Oh, okay.
It's streamer wife rules.
Streamer wife rules.
Yeah, it's written down somewhere.
Alright, well, this is in the rules.
So, let's see. Okay, let's take stock of what OSP can do in this situation. And the answer is, for right now, run. They need to regroup and make sure that they don't get pushed one side irregularly. So these line ships are going to unload, and then after that, they need to back around behind this rock and get safe until the rest of their fleet can move and build up a concave and kind of receive this push. Because Haymaker got surprised, all that jamming came out and made it so he couldn't even fight. The OSP here, they have to... Okay, yeah, so Lagoda knows what to do. He's backing away. He's going to let that reload tick in. And hopefully the rest of this OSP fleet is rearranging so that it can engage. Ideally, seeing this many ships in this area, these shuttles would commit and go through and cap D and cap C. It looks like this shuttle's having a bit of an issue here. It's ramming a rock. Oh, okay, that player left the game. That player left the game? Oh, they surrendered. Yikes. Okay, so that's unfortunate. That wasn't a disconnect. That was a surrender. If it was just a disconnect, it would have given the fleets alive to someone else, but instead those ships are being evacuated. Oh, it's because this Ocello is already dead. Well, that makes sense. What happened to these monitors? Also dead? Ah, yes, also dead. Wait, this Ocello... How did they... Wow, this fleet just gutted an Ocello in open field. That is really impressive. Yeah, I didn't see it happen, but it probably got caught on camera because I was looking in that direction. I suppose just that little bit of fire came through and went ahead and killed that Ocello. Yeah, not so lone wolf. You missed the mother of all B pushes. A cannon BB, a cannon Axford, a gun CL, 3 beam destroyers, 2 EWAR frigates, and 3 EWAR frigates. And just absolutely rolled up on B and murdered everything. It was truly impressive. I mean, the spacing was perfect. I've seen practiced teams push points less coordinated than that. So, yeah. And here come the rest of everything. Just a slaughter. We'll go ahead and put this on cinematic because we know the outcome. Here come the beams, just eviscerating these monitors. The 450s are going to do them in also. The 250 line ships looks like they have come back for more. Unfortunately, this cannon BB is going to make them pay for it. They might be able to take out another one of these destroyers. Or not. Looks like they're already backing off. Having done not really much damage at all. I wonder if they broke off? Ah. So, little known fact, if you attempt to change ammo types on the C-53, well, any autoloader cannon really, it will put it into a full reload as it swaps ammo types. So it looks like maybe AP was getting fired and then a command got issued to swap ammo types, which cut off the cannon fire midstream because only a couple of shells went out. And because of that, all of these line ships are in the midst of reloading. Looks like they're going to come out again. I can see them backing up. Let's see what they do. Meanwhile, everything over here, the right flank got obliterated, so it's only fair that the left flank gets obliterated also. And the story here really is how little damage the ANS has received in return. This CL is getting shot up a little bit by this line ship. 250 line ship's very dangerous to CLs. That 250 AP will rip straight through them, and there's so much of it, and they don't have a lot of health. Looks like, yep, here comes the AP being fired against this battleship. I think it's AP, right? Yellow? Yeah, yellow. It's doing some damage. The ideal target would be to take out one of these turrets. There is an awful lot of fire being shot out from the 250 line ships. But it looks like most of it kind of splattered into the right-hand flank at a really tight angle and didn't do very much damage. But on the whole, I think there's no way that the OSP can win this game. 2 fleets have been eviscerated. One more is in the process of getting beams in range of it. Let's see, actually. Is this ship still alive? It looks like its reactor got taken out.
The enemy secured zone Dagger.
It is maneuvering. So possibly it could fire at that CL again or something else maybe. Haymaker still has his rocket shuttles. It's going for a back cap. It's definitely not enough though. ANS is going to take E here shortly. I'd expect the battleship to kind of go and either chase down these line ships or come around the other side to regroup and sit on point E. but it's more just a case of the game being dragged out, really. I won't say it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely that 3 250 line ships are able to take this out. There's a completely undamaged heavy cruiser. This BB, got shot up a little bit. It's fine. And then on top of that, you have missile destroyers, you have beam destroyers, you have just everything.
The enemy is securing
These are
zone
beams
common.
too, right? Yeah, so rewinding back to game number 1, when I said beam DDs are still very much a threat, but you have to get the right EWAR in order to cover them. That is exactly case in point right there. Especially the hang-ups. The hang-ups are key. This time, OSP didn't have the long-range radars that could have cut through just purely blanket jamming. But even if they did, that amount of hang-ups means absolutely no long-range radar is going to do anything at all. And the stock radars available to the OSP are just trash against jamming. Bulwarks, Bridge Masters, they're terrible. There's absolutely no way for them to
The
do
enemy
anything
secured zone common.
if a blanket gets fired in their direction, and there's not long-range radar to back it up. I can't recall who it was. I think actually during testing there was a couple of players that made builds like this just to show how vulnerable the OSP is to hang-up jamming. And the answer is very. Especially if there aren't Ocellos around that aren't being jammed to kind of combat that jamming. So if you don't know, the Ocello is one of the few places on the OSP roster that gets the CR75 radar antenna. Most people don't care at all about the antennas, but it's not a problem on the ANS because the Axford gets one for free. And of course, we all know that the Axford is the #1 hull on ANS. So a hang-up being fired against ANS as far as comms jamming it, really ineffective because there's CR75s everywhere. But if on OSP you either jam the Ocello or somehow deal with it, or maybe they just don't take enough of the Ocellos. A hang-up can be devastating in that situation. And if you're going to do something like DDs hide very well under blankets. They have a very low radar cross-section. So you might as well take them. Worst case, it doesn't work. You get obliterated. But, that's par for the course, right? And in the cases where it does work, it's devastating. As we saw, that Ocello had absolutely no chance. Got obliterated. Here comes more 250 fire. We get to see it chew up the CL. This is really the best use case for these weapons on OSP. I mean, they can do this to an Axford also. There's so many shells that get dumped all at once. They're still coming. This might actually take out the drive right here before they have to reload. I mean, it's just, you can't ask for more than killing a ship in a couple seconds. It's beautiful. Don't underestimate the 250 line ship. It will slap. Unfortunately, they don't hold up too well against battleships. And here comes the cannon BB. Let's just go ahead and watch the carnage as it rounds the corner. There's nowhere left for these line ships to hide. As this BB rounds, it's just going to continue pummeling them at point blank. Probably that line ship is going to die, though. So, Pyrrhic victory achieved, but really, really well played by the ANS. When I talk about a B push and how effective it can be, you know, I should just post a clip of that push and how amazing it was. Absolutely no chance to defend against that if you're a single fleet. The only thing, perhaps if there was more early warning radars available on the OSP, they might have seen that coming. The thing is, it was really fast. Like I was mentioning earlier with the whip, yeah, so double whip, dragonfly, raider. This is how you build a battleship. Someone said something, piston miner. Yeah. Do not sleep on the raider. Yes, it makes your flank damage, hurt your thrusters, but who cares about the thrusters when you go, what is this, 26, 25 while turning? It's important. The linear thrust acceleration that the raider gives you is what allows these whiplashes to be effective. If you don't take that, it can take you like 5 minutes to reach your maximum speed. It's important, trust me. I don't want to go into the math too much on it right now, but I will if anyone dares question me about it.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
So let's see what the damage is. This is kind of alive. This one is, they're okay. Are they trying to figure out what they're shooting at, actually? I mean, obviously, it should be the battleship.
I made them too big.
Oh no.
Too big.
Oh no. You got scissors, right?
They're double-sided banners.
The enemy is securing zone dagger.
Delete some of it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's not how
Just copy and paste. It's fine.
It's okay.
These shuttles are managing to backcap. Made it a little bit spicy. Is that Slams? Okay. Looks like his line ship out here finally got taken out by this Axford. So he's out of the game. So we have Ladoga still hanging on with these 250 line ships. And Haymaker, he's putting up a good fight. I'll give him that. He's putting up a good fight. But as elements of the OSP continue to drop out one by one, they're going to have more ships able to be dedicated to fight this backcapping. And as that happens, we can already see here these DDs are being dispatched to Bravo or Baker. What is it? I don't even know. And they're going to cap that back. C is probably going to be the only point in OSP hands after a moment. And these DDs should just sit on these points. You know, there's no point in going for glory, get a couple extra damage numbers, and leaving yourself to maybe losing. So that's the smart play, is to take the slow ships and go sit on points. This BB, you know, it can be hurt by these 250 APs, but it probably won't lose. The turrets and the drives, the CIC, absolutely
The enemy is securing zone box.
can't really be killed effectively by this 250 AP. Looks like he's manually targeting drives there. Unless that was... Oh, no. It was just a lucky shot. But it doesn't really matter. These ships are being torn to pieces. They're losing drives. They're losing cannons. Meanwhile, this BB is losing thrusters in return. Not exactly a fair trade. It has lost a lot of its main engine thrusters, though. It's making it very, very slow. Unfortunately, there's not a good way to bring back thrusters, and except for spending restores, which it looks like is actually what's happening here.
The enemy secured zone boxer.
Boxer. That's what it is. Boxer. So, well done to the A&S team. Let's go ahead and zoom out, see if anything's happening. We got 2 shuttles, still mobile. Everything else is an A&S capital or a destroyer. Looks like those DDs over at Boxer are actually are planning on coming and seeing if they can come and beam one of these rear line ships that is backed off. Same for this Axford. But they've done their math. They know that this is the last fleet, really. So grand total, A&S lost 2 frigates, 1 destroyer, 1 corvette, and 1 light cruiser. And in return, they killed everyone.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
Well done to them. Let's go ahead and get this wrapped up. Okay, so hindsight. Definitely early warning radar. Always early warning radar on OSP. If they spot that push before Haymaker gets his Ocello obliterated, they have some options. Unfortunately, one of the best weapons right now that OSP has to deal with heavy armor is missiles, and when a death ball happens like that, the missiles aren't any good. So their best option is to play defensively and try and get that death ball to split up. And they had the tool to make that happen, which is rocket shuttles. Those rocket shuttles going through and backcapping can put some points pressure on the A&S to force that death ball to split up. And only once that death ball splits up, then can the OSP go in. They can go in with missiles. They can go in with 450s, either on Ocellos or line ships. Even the 250s would have done perfectly fine against those destroyers as long as they had some radar to break through the jamming. No LRTs, no EWR means that huge sensor gap that the OSP has as a signature is really going to make itself apparent. Maybe you don't realize it, you know, if you have a couple of parallax Ocellos or something. But even then, when the EWAR starts coming out, if it's being applied properly, if you don't have that long-range radar of OSP, that hole is going to make itself apparent. And I'm sure that we can check, actually. I'm sure this Ocello has a parallax on it. Oh, we can't actually see that anymore. I'm sure it had a good radar on it. It didn't matter. It got jammed out. And because of that, they got shut down big time. But really good game, really good experienced players on both sides. That was a treat.